It is Sunday the 5th of April. The Elite League season is done and dusted for the Panthers, and we're awaiting one final result to determine playoffs. We're in the pub and it's time for the Cat's Whiskers podcast. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever it is that you happen to be listening to our final league podcast of the 2025-2026 season. We are currently awaiting the conclusion of the only game that is relevant for us to find out what our playoff quarter-final looks like. So, around the table with me, we have Adam.
Hello.
We have Paul.
Hello.
And we have Ant.
Hey up.
Right, it's a very lively and busy Bunkers Hill because it is, of course, Easter Sunday. But...
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah, go on.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah, just in case the microphone didn't pick that up the first time, yeah, happy Easter. Happy Easter. I hope you all managed to dutifully wait for your chocolate eggs until today, until Jesus was risen. And if not, like me... then, you know, you're just going to have to live with the weight of your decisions. Okay, so we need to dial this back a wee bit because there are some games to talk about that have led us to where we are right now. So way back when we had a home-and-home weekend against the Sheffield Steelers, where bizarrely both teams took away wins. Just a quick show of hands, chaps. Who watched the game in Sheffield?
That'll be a no.
That'll be a no.
Resounding no.
A no.
I did, but I can't remember anything about it.
Well, it's a good job I took notes then, isn't it? So anyway, goals scored that game by 2-inch armour. Lemos, Marcinue and Strisberg's empty net. I'm sorry, that's what I've been calling him now. Look, right, if anybody thinks I'm making a crude joke, I am not. What we have discovered, or what we've deduced, is that Ross Armour loves to score goals from inside the blue paint. That's where the majority of his goals has come from. So, I'd just like to very much clarify, I'm not making a crude joke about anything to do with Ross Armour, other than his ability as a sniper 2 inches away from net. Anyway, yes, so Armour, Lemos, Marcinue, Strisberg. How the hell we actually stayed in it after that first period is beyond me. All hail Jason Grande, taking 24 shots and only conceding one of them because, quite frankly, he was massively, massively exposed. In contrast, Panthers' first goal in the second period was McAdam's second shot of the game. So it was an absolutely... it was just baffling, quite frankly, for me that was watching it. Everybody is a little bit distracted right now because there's a penalty shootout going on in the West Ham Leeds game. We've been watching that with great interest as well, actually, while we've been sort of waiting to hit the button, waiting for a timely window to hit the record button. Oh yes, another thing that happened in that Sheffield game. Brian Lemos making Sam Hare proud by scoring a goal and going straight over to the Steelers fans and celebrating it. That was, quite frankly, delightful as a Panthers fan, I have to say. And I mean, I know you guys have all seen the little videos and the delightful reaction of the Sheffield Steelers fans behind the plexi. And you know, we're just going to bask and wallow in that a little bit because it was funny at the time. It's still funny now.
It'll always be funny.
It will always be funny. Said the voice from the commentary box.
Who just slipped in there a few minutes ago?
Yeah, sliding into bunkers. Yeah, and also, again, I'm glad I took notes. This was the game that saw Danny Stewart get kicked out.
Go Danny.
Yeah,
Go Danny.
Danny Stewart, little bit upset about how proceedings were going. Told the referee what he thought, I'm assuming. And the referee decided that he wanted to hear no more and sent him off to the dressing room. So, a feisty game, one that was very entertaining, and would have been all the better had we been able to actually do the business at home the following day. Now, I'm going to put my hand up and say, I've been dealing with germs since the Challenge Cup final. I'm blaming the Challenge Cup final and all related celebrations, and I wasn't able to be at the game at home, which was very disappointing. So, gentlemen, anybody want to sort of make comment on the fact that we lost 4-2 to Steelers at home after winning 4-2 in their building. The only note I really made was there was a video review for a potential Panthers goal. Don't remember anything else other than that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's about it. Move on.
I thought it was a very unmemorable game by the fact that I don't really remember much about it, and I was there. So I don't know. Sheffield are pretty meh this year,
Hello, mate. Continue.
They're winning our building. It's not really changed anything, has it? It's not cost us a title. The world's still spinning, and we finished above Sheffield in the league, so that's decent.
Well, I suppose that's one thing actually though. Every single point going into the Belfast weekend, it was kind of vital, and it did lose us some ground, and potentially lost us some confidence going into that Belfast weekend.
But I totally agree with that, actually, thinking more seriously. But I felt like the league was already done by that point. I think my motivation for wanting us to pick up as many points was to sort of go into the playoff campaign at the end of the regular season, firing off on all fronts. And if we won a few games, and if we sort of made Belfast work hard for their elite league win, then all the better. So, I think before that Sheffield home defeat, as nice as it would have been to beat Sheffield, because it's always nice to beat Sheffield, whether it's home or away, or whether it's in the league or any cup competition, I still don't think that it was the absolute sort of nail in the coffin for our league title hopes.
What I would say is, for me personally, I thought we'd lost it weeks before then.
I did.
So, I think me and you were of a similar mindset at one point. And I seem to recall when we did talk about that, one Mr. John O'Bullard having a go at us and saying, "There's still games left to play." Yeah, pay attention, John. If you're going to stand there.
There's still games. No, there's not. There's no games left to play.
No, there's no games left to play now. So let's move swiftly on to the Belfast games. We all had fun travelling. We had
a great time on the boat. Yeah, we had a lovely time on the boat, didn't we?
I mean, you were delayed by 3 hours.
2.5 hours.
Oh yeah, similar. But
And as a result of that, we've got 50% of our fees going over refunded.
well, yeah, I'm still waiting to hear from Aer Lingus about ours. Bit of shine taken off the Belfast weekend, quite frankly. The guys that went over on the boat were delayed. Those of us flying over, Adam, we
meant to be flying over.
Well, we did in the end, but a day later than planned, thanks to Aer Lingus and
Would
their.
have been quicker to walk.
Well,
Actually, no, because there's a bit of swimming involved as well.
yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm considering upping my swimming. Up in my swimming regime, so next year I can, just get to the coast and just crack on myself.
You can have a little breather at the Isle of Man.
Yeah, that'd be
Break
nice.
the journey up.
Yeah.
Reapply the goose fat.
Yeah, most definitely. Anyway, so yes, Friday of the Belfast weekend saw the Giants win the league. Ross Armour and Cooper Zek providing the goals. And I'll be honest, that was kind of all the notes that I made, because I found that a very frustrating game on that Friday. I felt like we didn't offer an awful lot against Giants' sort of charge towards that. They knew they only needed 2 points, and they wanted to get it done on the first night.
I disagree a little bit with that. I thought we certainly turned up to compete in that game. I thought we pushed Belfast hard. I think the level of intensity that we showed was good. I mean, of course, by that point, our league hopes really had gone. But I thought we were professional, because we could have gone over there and thought, well, it's all a formality. Belfast are going to cruise this. But I thought we pushed Belfast hard on the Friday night. I thought we gave them a good game. Yeah, okay, we didn't have a ton of good sort of grade A chances, but we made Belfast work hard for that win, and I think that's all I sort of expected from the weekend, really. I didn't want us to sort of go over there and just roll over twice. So yeah, I mean, obviously we'll come to the game on Saturday in a few minutes, but yeah, Friday, look, we turned up, we competed, pushed Belfast hard. They won, they got the job done, they all had a party, which meant that we were able to get to the bar and the queues were a little bit shorter. So everyone's a winner. Well,
yeah, you've got to find a silver lining, haven't you? Paul, and anything that you want to sort of pick out from the Friday game before we move swiftly on to Saturdays in Belfast?
I mean, the Belfast weekend was more about the weekend for me than it was the hockey. Obviously, we went in that slimmer of hope that we could have maybe pulled something back, but Belfast played really well on the Friday. So yeah, fair play. The deserved league champions, well done. And then Saturday happened, which it happened. We were winning at one point, and then we were losing, and then
Saturday.
Chase got a hat-trick, and that's the last I remember.
Standard Belfast weekend for you then. I'm a little less reflective, I suppose, about the Saturday game in Belfast. There were still points to be had, and there were still points that we needed to have to put ourselves in a good position for playoffs, and we knew that. And I found that game, given that a lot of the top players were rested and a lot of the remaining players on the roster were probably hungover, I felt like that result was embarrassing, quite frankly. I felt, being a Panthers fan in that building, I didn't enjoy that at all. Didn't enjoy it in the slightest.
I mean, you probably get the full scope of it from reading Paul Baum's article. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Go to the website. Yada, yada, yada. I thought the biggest takeaway from the game on the Saturday was just how quiet everything was. No,
everybody's over.
It's like you've just won the league title. But even on the Friday, I don't think the Belfast fans were that loud.
No, they weren't.
And then, yes, we were there for mainly a party and what have you, but I think the Panthers fans did themselves proud over the two games. But how quiet it was on the Saturday. And I know, first period I watched the game in the bar downstairs, but second and third period, there was nothing going on. Absolutely nothing going on. And it was deserved.
Yeah. I got to say, this season, there have been very, very few times where I've been genuinely disappointed with Panthers' efforts. I probably could count them on one hand. But I think that game, the second game of the weekend, I was left a little bit upset, really, by the way that we sort of folded and capitulated when we had a chance to really sort of make an impression. And okay, if we would have won 6-7-1 or whatever, I'm sure Belfast would have countered that by saying, yeah, but our minds weren't in it. We were all hungover. We're all having a very jolly good time. Won the league again, and there might have been a grain of truth to that. But I still think that Panthers should have been a bit more professional in that game. When you get a lead over there in Belfast, regardless of whether the home team are inebriated or not, whatever their state of mind, you've got to win. You've got to win. And the sad part about it for me was that it looked like we were playing hard, but we weren't playing very clever hockey. It's almost like, and I don't like saying this because I don't think it's the mantra of a Danny Stewart hockey team, but it looked like we were taking that for granted a little bit, when we got the lead. And it felt like, we just need to stay out here for the rest of the game, and the win's almost guaranteed for us. So, that sort of mentality you need to flush straight out of the players' minds, because that will not help you for the rest of the regular season, but also probably more crucially for the very, very short, sharp playoff series that we have. So, disappointing really. I mean, it didn't really take the shine off the weekend because still had a great time. It's always a great time to spend good quality time with friends in Belfast. And as Ant said a few minutes ago, read Paul Barmer's blog, fantastic, quality writing as ever. And Ant said something a few minutes ago about when you asked him about the games, that said it's more about the weekend than about the hockey. I sort of agree with that, but I'm just really getting fed up with the fact that our record in Belfast for these double headers is so lousy. Yep. I just want us to go over there one year and absolutely school them twice, beat them really convincingly twice, and have their home fans drifting for the exits with 7 or 8 minutes to go. It's just not happening. Maybe next year it might be a bit different, who knows.
Well, don't we say it often enough? There's always next year. Paul, overall, how did you find the games in Belfast?
I just walked to the arena and they were on there.
Wow.
Find the games. Disappointing. Lack of atmosphere. Irritating announcer. It's like, make some noise, and nobody did. I mean, even when we were chanting hockey in a library at them, there was no reaction.
Yeah.
It was just, we had a few kids in on the Friday night, and it was just like going to a kid's birthday party with a terrible entertainer. I think in terms of the play, I thought Friday night we were a bit unlucky. They were sharp around the net and got won the battles round there. Saturday night, we just thought. The only thing I would say is I think Kieran Long. Belfast very good at running a keeper. Yeah, and I thought Kieran Long did it because he wanted to get thrown out the game because he was going to go and throw up somewhere.
I think you might be right there. I thought that myself at the time.
Yeah,
we might have said it.
Yeah, I might have said it.
I think there's one or two Belfast players who were on the ice that day with some serious regrets about their life choices, as regards how much they probably consumed to drink the previous night.
Can I also say, just as an observation, Scott Conway's nowhere near as good as his dad was.
I mean, I'll have to take that on advisement.
I've seen both of them. Nowhere near.
I don't know whether it was said. It might have been said. Apologies if it has, because it's been a bit noisy around the table. But I think one person that we can absolve of any blame from Saturday night's performance is Chase Pearson. I thought he was great.
Yeah.
He really stepped up the game. A hat-trick in Belfast is nothing to be sniffed at. Because they don't happen very often. So well played, Chase, for that game. He was the lone beacon that stood amongst a sea of darkness on that Saturday night.
Yeah, most definitely. There was a fair bit of, we wanted a fair bit of drowning our sorrows, but unfortunately the queue at the Dirty Onion was absolutely incredible. So
Monaco's bar was all right.
It was, yeah. It was not
in a strange, do we dare go in there sort of way. But when all the other pubs are full, and that one was 3/4 empty. But it was all right.
Hey, look, let's be honest. It was probably our 7th choice.
But at least we were allowed in.
Yes,
there's that to consider. So we're all hoping for better things in general for the Belfast weekend next year. Results and travel.
If we get one.
Well, if we get one, yeah. There have been times where that has not happened. So let's just take a quick update for the remaining league game. Ant, what's happening?
It's currently 1-1. Guildford have just equalised. So we're back to not knowing who we're going to play in the quarterfinals.
I mean, how much longer can we make this podcast go? If this goes to overtime, we're knackered. We'll have to come back for a part 2.
About 15 minutes left as we stand. So
Right,
15
okay.
minutes in game time, probably about another half an hour.
Gosh, I think we've pitched this all wrong, lads. Right. Anyway, so let's.
Ramble for a bit.
Yeah. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do.
can we bring that discussion back that we were having before you hit record, where you were all quite adamant on who you wanted to play in the quarter-final? Can we talk about that? Because I don't want to play either of these two teams. So I'm not.
Well, I'm sorry, we're not getting a bye, so you're going to have to figure it out.
There's going to be a bench clearance in the remainder of this game, and both teams will have about 12 players suspended for next weekend.
No, what I'm saying is I don't want to play either of them, so I don't have a preference over which one I want to play. But you three seem to have a preference, so go for it.
I couldn't give them monkeys either way. I don't care who it is, one way or the other.
No, I
Tina, tell us who you...
If we've got any players left to play, because I mean...
No, yeah, that's another point for discussion a bit further down the line, perhaps. I just feel like Guildford are our bogey team. I don't want us to play Guildford. I was talking to Aidan, who's the Manchester Storm announcer. He was in the pub before the game today with his lovely wife and lovely son, and we were just sort of saying how we would actually prefer to play each other, because I think each team feels like they have got a chance of progressing against them. Now, with Manchester, if they play Sheffield, I feel like they feel like they've got less of a chance against Sheffield, and I feel like we've got less of a chance against Guildford, because I feel like they're our bogey team. We have slipped up against them so many times in the past in games such as this, like playoffs and Challenge Cups and what have you. And maybe I'm just remembering it in a very different way, but I just feel like they're the ones we've slipped up against the most.
Well, this is the Elite League for you this season, isn't it? The old adage, anybody can beat anybody. But I mean, whether Manchester can against Sheffield, we'll see. I mean, maybe it won't work out that way. Who knows?
You had something to say?
Yeah, I'm more fearful of Guildford because I think since Christmas, other than Belfast, they have been the form team. Because around Christmas, it looked like Dundee could actually catch Guildford and overtake them to get that 8th place. But I'm not a statistics person, Tina, that's you. But I would probably wager a bet to say that Guildford are probably the second best team in terms of form since the new year. They've gone from 8th, borderline 9th, up to sort of challenging Manchester to actually finishing 5th. So you always got to be wary of that team at the end of the season that sort of hits a really sort of hot streak of form and takes that into what is a very short playoff series.
Yeah, but and I think the other thing with Guildford is that at the start of the season they had tons of injuries. I mean, they fielded a team at some point this season there was basically 3 lines and 5 defensemen, like we've ended up with tonight.
I mean, maybe that's why they found themselves down so low around Christmas, New Year, because they just had really, really bad luck with injuries. And now, they got a full healthy roster back. Paul Dixon's able to sort of make more changes to the roster, to the lines. He's got more flexibility as a coach, and that's enabled their sort of talents to, shine through and get them on a really good run of form. So, whereas Manchester seems to be going the other way. They were knocking on the door of the top 4 for a long time, but I think their form in the last, 2 months has tailed off a bit and is a bit more sketchy. So that's probably why, if you ask me who I want to face least, I would probably say Guildford just about.
Yeah, most definitely. But I think we've got the potential to lose against both teams. I think that's I'm not
to win against both teams as well.
Well, yeah, but like I say, I think for me personally, I feel like Guildford are our bogey team. Go on.
It's the same for me that it has been the last couple of years. It's like it very much depends on that first leg. If we come out of Manchester or Guildford trailing by a maximum amount of 1, then I can see us turning it around. And again, but this depends on how serious these injuries are and what have you. If we end up playing either of these teams with 5 D-men and 9 forwards, we're in for a horrible couple of games. But then just going off the rest of the games, I can't, apart from Belfast against Glasgow, I can't call a winner, regardless of who, the Sheffield get or whatever. I can't call a winner in any of the games. And does that not make for an entertaining, as rubbish as Dundee and Fife have been, does that not make for an entertaining playoff series?
Well, yeah, and that's great. But at this point, I'm not bothered about entertaining. I just want us to be in the finals weekend. So that's kind of where I sit with that.
But the fact that you can't go to the bookies tomorrow and go, right, these 4, here's a fiver, boom, because nobody knows who's going to beat. I mean, who knows? I mean, Clan might actually turn up and, it's not going to happen, is it? But
well, no. I mean, it's unlikely, but it's possible. I would say personally.
No. Entertainment Franchise FC or whatever, hockey club. Sorry.
Dundee's second team, you mean?
Yeah. Wow. No, they're not. Come at me, Clan fans. Tell me I'm talking out my backside, which I am most of the time. But they're an entertainment franchise. They're not an ice hockey club. So they've made the top 8, and they'll be happy with that. They'll get 2 games against Belfast. They'll probably sell out at home, but they'll probably end up on. And Guildford have just scored. So that's 2-1 Guildford. So I don't know what that means.
I believe that means if the score stays as it is, we play Manchester. Yes. So this is the result I want. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but that's kind of the result that I want. But there's still plenty of the game to play, I imagine.
But yeah, I mean, going back, because Braehead's owners have got another team now to play for, so they'll be delighted they've got Belfast, sell-out home game. They'll sell loads of stuff with the mascot. They'll do their fist bump tours and all that lot. But they'll get pumped over 2 legs by Belfast. And I don't think the owners will care because they've made that money. So
that's it, isn't it? That's it. You've seen any number of times that the Elite League has fixed the draw for, let's say, the Challenge Cup. I mean, the time that they had 4 balls and a puck in a Sainsbury's carrier bag, just so they could get Panthers versus Sheffield, so they could get a few extra quid.
Just while we mentioned, you briefly mentioned Dundee. I have to say, I'm absolutely gutted. I mean, you could see it coming a mile off. But Mark Lefebvre is leaving Dundee. He's going across to France. And I'm genuinely gutted because that man is gold for banter on the bench.
And the rumour of who's replacing him is a certain Mr. Nielsen, I understand. So...
Well,
he'll soon have as many Elite League clubs as Todd Bidner.
He's doing a tour of duty, he really is. But what I'd like to say is, I want Mark Lefebvre to drop his wardrobe off with Danny Stewart on the way to France. Next season, I want to see Danny wearing some of those suits. They're about the same height. They'll fit.
No, I can confirm they are not even close to the same height.
Well, I don't have your luxury of sitting right behind the away bench in the arena.
Yeah, no, I don't. They're not going to fit. There'll be a lot of tailoring that'll have to go on to make them suits fit. But I honestly, the team in France that he's going to, they're in for a treat. They're in for a treat because if nothing else, he's such a personable guy. I just hope he comes to playoff weekend and just has a bit of a blowout. That'll be fun. But yeah. I mean, I've got photos somewhere of Omar Pasha dancing on a table in bunkers, so let's just try and collect a set. Yeah. Right, we'll drag this back into a Panthers related podcast. Wednesday evening against the Manchester Storm, another game which I could not attend because the Germs beat me.
And me, I was ill in bed.
Oh wow, okay. Well, it's a good job I bought the webcast. Paul, you were there. And I seem to remember that you said, I'm not going to say what you actually said, but I seem to recall you sort of hinting that it wasn't that interesting a game.
I can't remember what I said.
It was something along the lines of, this game's not very interesting.
Well, I mean, it was dull as Sorry about that.
And Ant's going to have to get the bleeper out for that one. We'll pick that one up with you later, Paul. Yes, I mean, I'll be honest, it didn't come through well on the webcast while I was watching at home, and it was more of a God, we just need to get to the other side of this and grab some points. I think we found it difficult to score. Manchester, I can't really say that Manchester shut us down well. I don't think either team covered themselves in glory.
It was Derrida. You know, if Manchester hadn't have had him, we could have had 5 or 6. But you know, it was all about the netminders. There was nothing going on in the game. You know, they scored, we equalised, and then we didn't score, and we didn't score, and then we did score, and that was it.
I suppose what I'd say is someone that wasn't there, who was keen to see what actually happened at the game. The Panthers highlights, I don't think had a single thing that they showed in the second period.
Apart from the goal. Oh no, there wasn't a goal. No, the goal was in the third, wasn't it? Yeah.
So, to me, on that logic, it looked like a very, very boring game. If we couldn't find any highlights from the second period, it generally indicates that the game was not a barn burner and fans were not on the edge of their seats.
No. And unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately because we did, on the strength of that game, you would say that doesn't really set you up for a very exciting playoff quarter-final. However, last night's game in Manchester, totally different story. A little bit heated. I've only watched a couple of highlights because for the game in question, I was on my way back from the netball when it faced off, so I didn't see any of that game, and I was basically just working on your guys' commentary of it. So, and I know we've sort of heard from Aidan as well about how this all kicked off.
He's biased. That boy's biased.
The poo hit the fan. Let's put it this way. Although now Paul Baum swung, and I just say hit the fan.
Oh no, you are definitely getting the bleeper out or the Panther roar or whatever it is. So yeah, basically a hit in the first period that Manchester disagreed with, didn't get called by the referees, and so words were said as teams were going to the dressing rooms, and it was essentially a brawl, which, I mean, it's very unexpected in the Elite League these days.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So players got fined for fighting outside of the periods of the game. I think the phrase. And then the coaches got fined for not controlling their benches. But surely, if it was the end of the period, all the players would have gone onto the ice anyway, and then it all kicked off. What's Danny supposed to do? Be on the ice grabbing and pulling them out by the back, scruff of the necks? And while we're at it, why did Ouellette not get a fine? Because that cross-check, I mean, it was Cole Shudder-esque. And I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but he's done that sort of thing before.
Well, he is known for being a player who plays on the edge.
Indeed he is.
I mean, that's probably the political way to say it.
Polite.
Yeah, so that's a very polite way of saying it.
At the end of the day, we won, they lost. It don't matter.
Yes, yeah, most definitely. And I think should we then end up playing Manchester, I think that game is going to linger in the memories of some players on both sides, quite frankly.
Oh yeah, exactly. You know, that's the sort of thing where, you know, you take a ticket, you remember what's going on. But other than us actually winning the game and getting the 2 points, the other big winner last night was definitely Planet Ice and their bar takings. With how long it took to play that game, there must have been a lot of people at the bar. Must have been keeping their glasses full.
Well, it depends, because last time I went down to Altrincham, you were queuing for like virtually an entire period just to get a beer in the first place.
Yeah. Sort yourselves out, Planet Ice, Altrincham.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not made it over there this season, so I can't comment on, like, because they've moved the away block to the other end. So, like, before it was like, it's fine, you dash down the steps with 30 seconds to go, you got to the bar, got yourself a jug of beer, came back, job, happy days. But I was more thinking about, like, if there were any of our lot that were stopping overnight, it was just like all these beer time they're missing out on in the Cheshire Tap. It was devastating. It was still going on. Everybody else had packed up and gone home, and we'd not started the third period yet. But I mean, I suppose all those fines pays for the end of season Elite League drinking session, doesn't it? I suppose.
Right, let's bring ourselves right up to date with today's game then, guys. Panthers did not start well.
That's an understatement.
Three shots on goal in the first period is.
We didn't start well, we didn't middle well, and we didn't end well.
That's the game in review. Yeah. That's it. That's all you need to know.
And we had players go off injured.
Yes, and that is actually the worst possible outcome, because somewhere in the middle of that game, and I didn't even see it happen, Brendan Harris has gone off and not returned. Vulcan had to go and get some patchwork done after he'd had a fight, which, I'll be honest, I think that fight was quite unnecessary. I mean, it fair play to him for sort of standing up and stepping up about that, but the hit on Betteridge that was made by the Cardiff player, I don't think there was anything wrong with it.
He probably messed himself when he saw Helgeson anyway.
He's a big lad.
It literally was one of those, wasn't it? It was just like, right. Well, I mean, it was a hard hit. It was like I say, I loved it. It was a good clean hit. But I do want to see the team step up for each other and what have you, especially when we're coming down the pack, because there was no need for Cardiff to play as physical as they did do in a game that meant absolutely very little in the end. But yeah, it was one of them. That Vulcan was straight in there, and it was almost like looked up, and he goes, "Oh heck, by gum, I've done myself a wrong on here."
Yeah, there was a definite height difference between the two combatants, shall we say? Go on, Adam.
No, well, I was going to say that I think Ant's summary of the game was really, really good, actually, even though it's probably slightly tongue-in-cheek. But what I thought about that game was we did not start that game at the right tempo. Cardiff started that game at the right tempo. It's almost as if Tomo said, right, this is the start of the playoffs for us. Go out there, send a message. Show Nottingham that, they can be beaten on their own ice. And they did. And they came out, and, as we've already talked about, the shots on goal were so one-sided after 20. They were still one-sided after 40. I don't quite know what the shots on goal finished because I left virtually on the buzzer. But it just felt like a missed opportunity in some ways, because we didn't really step up and we didn't really play with the energy and the sort of the life that I wanted us to see. So whilst Cardiff will probably go back down to South Wales now, with a bit of confidence and a bit of momentum, we're basically now doing a head count to see who's basically fit for next weekend after the injuries. And, if we do have injuries, that's going to screw up forward lines, it's going to screw up deep pairings, and, Danny Stewart's going to have to work a bit of magic to get us past the two-legged quarter-final.
Yeah, most definitely. Right, okay, we are just going to run to the correspondent over here for a quick update on the all playoff happenings. Ant, tell us what's going on.
Well, there was a bit of screwball scrambling going on towards the end of that game, but it has finished. Guildford Flames 2, Manchester Storm 1. So Nottingham Panthers will play the Manchester Storm over 2 legs next weekend for a place in the playoff finals.
Ooh, look at that. Are you trying to give Jono a run for his money? Is that what's going on?
That's my proper BBC voice.
BBC voice. I didn't realise you had one of them.
I ain't got one of them.
Right, okay.
My voice is Jono.
I hear voices in my head. They counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
I'm friends with the voices inside of my head. I'm sure there's a song about that. Anyway, right. So we now have all of the matchups. And actually, just while we had a brief pause, despite the fact that he was saying that he wasn't bothered, Paul Baum is actually quite pleased about the results in Guildford, aren't you, Paul?
Still don't care.
Yeah, righto, mate. Anyway, right, so 4 of us then. If we can have your predictions, gentlemen, for the final 4. So we're going to say, so it's going to be Belfast versus Glasgow Clan. Does anybody think that there is any other result than a Belfast win?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think Clan will do him.
He's saying that with a straight face, but I'm really not sure whether or not to believe him.
I mean, the entertainment franchise ice hockey club, like I've just gone off at. No, they're not. Belfast will absolutely hump them. I can't keep it up.
No, you cannot. You cannot, definitely. I mean, oh, hello. I've already had to explain myself away for some crudity that wasn't there. And I mean, you go in there, ridiculous. So then, next matchup is Cardiff and Coventry, which it's the tasty rivalry, isn't it? I mean, that could go either way, quite frankly.
It could. I can only see it going Cardiff's way, though.
Cardiff have won now 7 of their last 8. So.
Who invited you here?
Well, sorry, I have these things in my head because I've just been talking about them. Yeah, I think Cardiff will win that. As much as Coventry, I think we'll give them a game. I think Cardiff will win that.
Yeah, Adam.
Coventry, we're going to see a Matt Robson masterclass.
Yeah, well, that is actually, all joking apart, that is the difference, isn't it? I think Matt Robson, Cardiff getting past Matt Robson is definitely where that sits. That's where that series sits. So yeah, there will be. It will be a goalie battle. That is the difference there. So unfortunately, I still think it's Cardiff. Like you say, I think Coventry will give them a game. I would like to see Coventry do it, but as it is, I can't see past Cardiff, unfortunately. Anybody else? Go on.
I'm like you, Tina. Unfortunately, it's like year after year, when it's always Cardiff against Coventry in the quarterfinals. Every year you think maybe Coventry will get the better of them at some point, and then there is that part of the game where it always looks like Coventry are going to do this, and then it ends up Cardiff winning by 3 or 4. Coventry have had it doesn't look like it on the league table because they finished 7th, but they've had a terrific season. They got to the final of the Cup. It was one of the best games of Elite League hockey I've seen, that Cup final between us and them. I just don't think they've got enough left now to oversee that Cardiff team. That Cardiff team that I saw tonight, as terrible as the game was, this afternoon, as terrible as that game was, Tomo's got them up for the playoffs. Which is unfortunate because I don't want to see them win anything. But yeah, I think it's Cardiff for me.
Okay, so then we come to Nottingham Panthers versus the Manchester Storm, and I think, as we've just alluded to, a lot is going to depend on personnel. We're waiting for confirmation on some key players. We know that. I don't know. No, we don't know. There could be some surprises. So a lot depends on personnel. If we don't get some people back, I think Manchester are going to be the bottom table team that are going to go through. I think they're going to get past us. But if we get a few key players back, such as your Garratts, your Marcinu, Stridsberg, I think then that, particularly Stridsberg and Garratt, will shore up the defence a little bit more, make it a bit more difficult for Manchester to get past us, personally. Paul, what are you thinking?
I think we'll get through it. I think we'll. I mean, it depends what Derrida does, really. But I think we just about got enough to. Well, I think we'll just squeak through it. I think it'll be close, but I think it's us all the way.
Adam.
I think they will take it a step further from last night. I think there'll be a mother of all bench clearances. Both teams will be kicked out of the Elite League, and Fife will be reintroduced.
Good Lord. So somebody get Mark Lefebvre back, would you?
Seriously. I think we will probably just about edge it. I think the game in Manchester will be tight. I can see it being level after the first game. But hopefully, I might think that a really raucous Motorpoint Arena and a really noisy home fans will sort of drag us over the line.
Yeah. And
We're talking us and Manchester.
Yes.
I think what you said, Tina, it depends on personnel. And I'll repeat what I said earlier. It's not for the first time. If we come out of that game on the Saturday, maximum 1 goal behind, I fancy us to go through. I think a lot depends on our goalie tandem. If our goalie tandem plays better than their goalie tandem, that's where your game will be won.
I think this is the point where the goalie tandem goes out the window. I think you've got to pick, right, you've got to say, right, here we are, we're 2 games away from oblivion or the playoffs or whatever you want to call it.
Who's the hot goalie?
Who's the hot goalie? Who'd you put in there? And that's it.
Fair enough. Oh, hang on. From the commentary box.
Yeah. Next weekend, I'm expecting a Chase Pearson wonder show. I think he will come to the fore. I think he will be our key player next weekend, and I think he will take us through to the Final Four weekend.
Dragging us through via those long, luscious locks. Right, so final game on the docket, Steelers versus Guildford Flames.
Flames.
All in favour of Flames, say aye. Hang on, Adam's got a point of view here.
I'm in favour of Flames, but I think Sheffield might do it. They'll probably buy the league or something.
Ooh, rude.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think this is an interesting one because ordinarily I think you would fancy Sheffield to take that. However, they are not in form right now. I think they are. I think they're a little. I think their egos are a little bit bruised right now, and I think if Guildford are on their game, I think Sheffield are there for the taking. Quite frankly.
I don't actually know what Sheffield's record is like down at the Spectrum. I feel like they might have quite a decent record down there. Something tells me that. But again, for me, it goes on that first leg. If Guildford come away 2 or 3 goals ahead, Sheffield are going to find that very, very hard to pull back. But now, Guildford in the Final Four, and Aaron Fox out of a job.
I was going to say that.
I'm going to disagree with you there. Aaron Fox has got another year to go on his contract, and I firmly expect he will be behind the Sheffield bench next season.
Well, yeah, Fox in.
Fox in.
Yeah, Fox in.
Fox in. Get the Fox in. That's what Jono's saying.
What does the Fox say? The Fox says he's in. So what we're expecting then? Well, I mean, we've got some differences of opinion really around the table, haven't we? So, but I think we're all sort of agreed that Belfast are going to be there. We're kind of hoping that personnel issues go our way and we're going to be there. But yeah, there could be some upsets along the way, obviously.
Guaranteed there's going to be at least one upset.
Oh, yeah.
But I can easily see 2 of the top 4 not making it this year, at least.
Well, this is where we get to say, let's wait and see, eh? So next weekend, I haven't seen the full lineup of games, but I know the majority of home games Saturday, Sunday. I know Belfast have got their home game on the Saturday. We are home game on the Sunday, so we will expect to be in Manchester. In fact, I believe our ticket theory is on the case right now as we speak. So several of us around this table right now will probably be there. And we'll do this all again when we know what playoff final looks like, I suppose. So yes, until next time, thank you very much for sticking with us and listening along to our ramblings on these podcasts. Please, if you haven't already, check out Paul Barham's latest article around and about the Belfast weekend. And we
do hockey in a library.
Jono is available for karaoke. No, he really is, because I'm sure there'll be karaoke over playoff final weekend, and I'm pretty sure at some point that man will be holding a microphone to sing something.
You've got to hold and give, but do it at the right time.
Oh my God, he's getting all these greatest hits out. We're going to stop now before he gives everything, before he shows us everything. Right, from around the table, until next time, from Ant.
Yeah, take care, everybody, and whatever happens to us next weekend, we have had a very successful season. European trophy, domestic trophy, the first Elite League team to do that, by the way, which we've said before. But yeah, anytime you win a trophy in a season is a successful season. We've got 2. Let's go and get a 3rd. Why not be greedy?
He can never just say bye, can he? From Paul Barn.
Right, apologies for swearing. Read the article, buy the book. That's it.
And from Adam.
I'll just keep it short and sweet. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
And from Jono, because, he stood right next to me right now.
Vegetable rights and peace.
World peace all round. World peace for everybody. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. TTFN.